Hello everyone, it is Joe here from OmniPoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. Today we're looking at Reshiram Charizard tag team, this time with Jirachi. I think pre-Unbroken Bonds I did do a Salazzle build, but it seems to be more people are looking towards the Jirachi based build of ReshiZard, and that's the list that we're going to be covering today. So let's jump into the archetype and the card decisions within it, because I have been sort of fluttering around with a few different counts here and there. I think this is where I'm at the moment. But this is one of these decks that has a lot of different options available to it. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be some continual changes going on here. And when we get to the sort of discussion about what cards could be in the deck, I've got a lot. So let's jump straight into it. Starting off with free Jirachi. Stellar Wish is obviously very good. It can work us towards Welders. Fiery Flints, we need basically that combo if we want to start going for Welder. Turn 1 going second to get attacking with Double Blaze GX. Also it can help us dig towards Kiawe's, which is excellent. As well as just all this ball search that we have. We have 4 Ultra, 2 Treasure to help us get towards Lele or Let Loose. If we need to get a Kiawe, and then for hand disruption on the opponent's side with Let Loose. Also digging towards, you know, these nest balls and stuff just to find targets, etc, etc. Jirachi just a very, very good card and gives us a supplementary draw engine through the mid game, which is excellent. We already need to use switching cards for Flare Strike, very similar to how Zapdos needs to switch all the time. If we're in the chain of Flare Strikes, we need to be using switches and Guzmas and stuff. So it just tends towards Jirachi. When you need to pivot, Jirachi's the perfect answer. So that's why we're going down this line. From there, let's look at the main attacker. Reshiram Charizard tag team, 270 hit point. Basic type is ridiculous. With 3 attacks, the first for a fire color is Outrage. You do 30 plus 10 more damage for each counter on him. So this can be nice if people are starting to chip away at the ReshiZard. You can Outrage for knockouts, which is excellent. Flare Strike does 230 damage for 3 fire and a colorless, which is insane numbers. Obviously getting you through stage 1 and basic GXs pretty easily. And if you put on things like Choice Band, you can even knock out a number of tag teams. Like Gardevoir Sylveon, for example, which is one that you sort of get in range, as well as Pika Rom, of course. So 2 big tag teams can get knocked out by Flare Strike with the help of a Choice Band, or with the help of maybe some Mew damage sprinkled in here and there, which is also a cool thing that this deck can do. Double Blaze GX for 3 fire does 200. That's why I mentioned that if you're going second, you can Welder, attach, and do 200 as early as turn 1, which is very, very scary. If you're able to have 3 additional fire attached to you, you get to do an additional 100 damage. So that's knocking out pretty much every tag team. Even Magikarp and Warlord will fall to a 6 energy Double Blaze GX, which is nuts. And this even gets through all effects when your opponent's active. So this can get you through things like Hooper as well, if you have to. Obviously, committing 6 energy to a ReshiZard is a little bit questionable to do that, but if it gets you through maybe your last Hooper or whatever, it's pretty nice. So Double Blaze is a reasonable option there. Next up, our other tag team is Eevee and Snorlax Tag Team GX. Added this card into the build. I actually think this is a really solid option in here. It also has 270 hit points, which is very big. Weakness to fighting is much less relevant now, which is amazing. It's finally time for Eevee Snorlax to shine, I think. We have 3 attacks on this guy as well. Cheer Up, just for a colorless, can attach an energy from hand to one of your Pokemon. Obviously, that's like a Last Chance Saloon type thing. But he comes with Dump Truck Press. For 4 colorless, you do 120. And if your opponent's active is an evolved Pokemon, you do 120 more. So many of the Zoroark decks are trying to counterbalance the ReshiZard matchup with water techs. And if you just Kiawe onto an Eevee Snorlax, you can just start dump trucking them, and literally you're going to be really, really solid. I also added this in to help out with Wheezing, believe it or not, because it's really annoying for ReshiZard to keep having to pivot in and out to do Flare Strikes over and over again. So just sitting there and using Dump Truck Press is much more efficient. So I think this is a really nice addition to help out against Zoroark and Wheezing. So pretty nice overall. Megaton Friends is a nice GX stack option as well if we're able to use it. For 4 colors, you do 210, which is already very good. But if you have an additional energy attached, you get to draw until you have 10 cards in hand. Now, we are playing Heat Factory and Welder, so oftentimes our hand can get fairly large if things go to plan. But Megaton Friends, you know, can just help you in that mid game as well. If you don't need to use a Double Blaze GX attack, you can get away with Megaton Friends as well, which is pretty nice in niche spots. From there, we have a number of one-offs. First of all, let's start with Lele. Wonder tagging for Kiawe is very, very good if we're going first. Even if you go second, sometimes Kiawe is the better option if you don't want to just Double Blaze into something. Or if you don't have the requisite fires in hand for your Welder. So Leleing for Kiawe is oftentimes going to be awesome. and that's the main reason why we have Lele in here. We also have Dedenne-GX. Dede Change is a great ability for us to have a second chance at trying to get towards Kiawe or Welder, which is always great. You can just Ultra Ball and Dede Change to look for a fresh hand. Seeing as though you dump your hand and draw 6, that's the main reason, well, that's the only reason Dedenne is in here, to basically give ourselves that extra push if we're whiffing on maybe some Welders or whiffing on Kiawe or whatnot. I think especially because our turn 1 supporter is oftentimes Kiawe, you're not drawing any cards. Having the option to draw 6 on the following turn with a Dede Change and then look towards Welder is a really powerful thing to have here. So a nice GX option in the deck. Then we have the Marshadow for letting loose. We want to disrupt our opponent's hand a lot of the time, so we present this big threat and make it difficult for them to answer him. Again, there are decks that will be having tech cards for ReshiZard, and using a let loose is going to make it difficult for them to do anything about this absolute monster. They can start tearing through the board if let loose is correct. Let loose is critically strong against the likes of Quagnag, one of your worst matchups without let loose. Good against Mill, good against the Baby Blacephalon deck. Even if they are playing Jirachi, you're still asking a lot of them, so the let loose is very strong right now. Even good against like Pikarom as they scrabble to do stuff. Like, this is really, really strong against some key matchups, as well as just being disruption in general on those early turns, which is really awkward to deal with for a lot of decks. The final couple one-offs, Mew has Bench Barrier, which helps out Pikarom, seeing as though we will often be putting down Dedenne or Lele, sometimes both. So denying those free prizes is always very good. And do not sleep on Psi Power. This attack is actually very good. I've used it in Mirror a lot. If you can put one of their ReshiZards in range just by one little cheeky damage counter, and then you just put 2 damage counters on like the other ReshiZard that they have in play, you set them both up for being knocked out with choice bands. With Flare Strike, so this is actually like low-key, pretty good mirror card, because in mirror, if you attack with this, like say you go second and you attack with Mew on turn 1 and like Welder to the bench or whatever, it's very rare that they can like gust and kill your own ReshiZard or whatever, so having the Mew active is really annoying for them, because oftentimes they'll be having to Welder as well, or they'll be having to Kiawe or whatnot, so this Mew gets away with murder in Mirror. It's actually very, very good. I think it's really strong. And even if they are able to Guzma and hit your ReshiZard, it's really hard for them to have... You know, they can't have the 6 energy, even if they Kiawa'd on 1, unless they like manually attached on 1 as well, to have 5 energy on their bench guy, which can happen, I guess. But if they welded to their ReshiZard, it means they can't Guzma and kill your own one on turn 2 either. So your Mew gets away with it, basically, is what I'm trying to tell you here, which is really, really good. From there, we have one Miltank. The Moo Molt ability is very strong, helping you heal up some damage. This is really nice against Wheezing and Zapdos. Healing off damage is a big deal, and Moo Molt gets us that option. We play 4 switches and 3 Guzmas to try and accommodate this as much as possible, so that our big tag teams can keep going. And if people are trying to set up 2 shots against us, we can push them out of range, which is a really nice deal. I think the main reason this guy's in here is for Zapdos. And then we have the Turtonator. I've sort of flip-flopped around a lot of different attackers, to be honest. I've had the Turtonator in here. I've had the Reshiram. I've had the Shining Lugia. This slot is basically floating for whatever you think's best. Even the Baby Blacephalon could be in here as well. At the moment, I'm with the Turtonator just because Explosive Jet does silly damage sometimes. If like a tag team's been damaged, for example, you have like 4 energy on a ReshiZard. It gets hit, and then you just Welder and go into this guy and Explosive Jet. You can just happily remove those energy off your damaged ReshiZard because it's pretty much dead to you anyway. And the Turtle then just does so much work with his own damage. So I think he can be a threat in his own right, but also he's like an answer to non-GX walls like Hooper and stuff. Onto the trainer cards, we have one Field Blower. Blower's nice for batons on Blounds and Quagnag, spell tags on Weezings, escape boards on stuff. It contests the Stadium War more than just the one Heat Factory that we have, so it's a really versatile card. Honestly, I'm thinking about playing a second Blower. It's been really good in the deck whenever you see it. And whenever you do see it, you're like, oh, this is a perfect time for Blower. Great, let's use it. Because there's a lot of different decks that are trying to take advantage of tools and stadiums right now. So competing with that is also going to be great. For Ball Search, we have really high counts. We have Double Treasure to get us into Lele and Let Loose. We have 3 Nest and 4 Ultra. So lots of good searchability in those early turns. For our sort of fire synergy cards, we have 2 Fire Crystals, which can recover lots of fires back to the hand to make our Welders more live. And just have manual attachments throughout the game. And we have 3 Fiery Flints, a really nice item that gets you 4 fires in hand that can, again, synergize with the Welder oh so well in those early turns. And it helps thin your deck as well for more Stellar Wish value, which is also something to note for sequencing there. 1 Stretcher to recover some key pieces, recovering like a Miltank if it's going to get targeted, recovering a Turtonator if you're in a non-GX based matchup, recovering, you know, key pieces, even like Let Loose and stuff is a big thing to recover. 4 Switch is amazing with your chunky Pokemon and with Stellar Wish. 1 Heat Factory, just a fantastic stadium for the deck to help us cycle. 1 Cynthia, just because the conditional draw, you can see on weaknesses, Welder can only be used if we have a fire energy that we can attach from our hands. So there are those times where you just stumble upon no fires. It's rare because we play 3 Flint and 12 fire, but it can happen. And in those situations, you want to have a supporter that you can at least use, and I like Cynthia for that option. Then we have double Kiawe, a great turn 1 usage that just powers up our main tag team, whichever one we choose. 3 Guzma for targeting down stuff to make the most out of these huge damage swings. 4 Welders for energy acceleration whilst also getting card draw. 2 Choice Band to help us push on those tag teams that I mentioned earlier. And 2 Escape Boards for mainly Jirachis, but everything can take advantage of it. And then we have 12 Fire Energy to round things out. I think with the Flints, that's plenty. So let's have a look at some cards that we could be playing in the list. Ace of Riddles 1, whenever you're playing a tag team, it's something you could bear in mind. I've even thought about Max Potion, you know. Weezing's a scary deck, and having extra heals is actually a pretty big deal, so I could see a Max Potion even fitting in. Second, Field Blower is also a really nice card for Weezing, if that's something you're actually considering as a very strong deck, which I do, so yeah. Absol is nice for Zapdos, and then there's stuff like Reshiram, the baby Reshi. This is good for knocking out some Hoopers and whatnot. Comes with his own Outrage, which is pretty nice. I think Shining Lugia's one that I would prefer because it can do 120 on Hoopers and stuff, and it isn't a fire type, so you get around heat-proof stuff. I've also seen the Shining Ho-Oh be played by a few people. It has a 4 energy cost, which is the main reason why I'm not a huge fan of it, but Golden Wing can sort of retain those energies for you as well, which is pretty reasonable. Also, it's a fire type, so it doesn't get around those heat-proof things. In terms of other cards I've had in and out of the deck, Escape Rope's one of those cards that's currently out, but it can be reasonable if you can catch people with like the 1 rope. You can go for it. At the moment, I'm just going for pure Switch because I think when we want to Guzma, we can. So it's not all that mandatory to play the ropes, but it can help you get around like Jolteon and stuff, which is something to bear in mind. But yeah, I think that's where we're gonna... Whoops, I've got to save this because I have been doing tinkering. But yeah, that's ReshiZard. That's where I'm at the moment. Let's try and get into the ladder. Here we go. And let's have some games. Let's see just how strong ReshiZard is. I think it's a very strong archetype, and going into Santa Clara, it's one of those things that's going to be heavily targeted. But I think it can compete under being targeted. I've been playing around with lots of Zoro things that just play blue stuff, and they can still get stomped by Eevee Snorlax. And stuff like Quagnag can just lose to Let Loose. And there's not much else that just hard wins ReshiZard. I think Weezing's one of your harder matchups, to be honest. But we play the heals, we play the blower. We do the best we can against them. Looks like we are in a mirror. And we are going second in mirror, which is always scary, because they can let loose us. We don't really want to get let loose because our hand is good. They're just going to attach and key our way. Classic. Power Plant's a card that we could be playing as well, of course. That improves the Zoro to some extent. Also is reasonable in mirror because it stops the opponent from Lele-ing or Dedenne-ing. We pick up a Fiery Flint, which I'm instantly going to play because it thins the deck for this Stellar Wish to be much better. We're already holding on to Treasure for either Lele or Let Loose, depending on what we want. We could even go for a Mew this turn to do 10 damage. We have both our Choice Bands. We have our Kiawes. Our Cynthia is in our deck. Okay, this is looking pretty good. Let's grab these. I'm going to start off with a Heat Factory here. to help dictate what we want from the Stellar Wish. We actually pick up Welder and Mew and the Lele, and that's a lot of good things there. Let's Stellar Wish. We find ourselves Nest Ball. So, Psi Power is looking pretty good here. I could go, but I can't Psi Power into Flare Strike unless I Welder this turn. We get pretty punished by them having Guzma Energy in a 4-card hand. But I think we just got to do it, man. They didn't play any... Well, they... it's so scary, man. Mirror's a scary time. It's Welder. I think I want to do this Mew play, for sure. And I think I want to let loose. I mean, he didn't play much, but putting the 5th energy on sort of tells us that he's looking to get the full value. I think we're going to let loose. It's pretty weird just let loosing a attached Kiawe, but simply because he attached, it makes me feel we have to. Let's do it. We see a second ReshiZard, which means he's not going to Guzma us. He's going to replace it. Wow, so they play Power Plant and Viridian and Heat Factory, I assume. Huh. Obviously putting the 3 damage counters onto this means he can outrage for a knockout. Normally we like to just do like 1 and then 1 and then 1 elsewhere, but let's see what the opponent can do here. Let's see, Ultra Ball, getting rid of a Fire Crystal and a Fire. They could have just played the Crystal and kept a Fire in hand. Maybe that tells us they're going for a Dedenne change. Possibly. We can go for Absol. That's actually pretty annoying for us. Ah, they had a second Fire Crystal in hand. It all comes clear. And they have a Welder, nice. We're just going to end on an outrage here. We're going to rope. Rope, huh? I mean, he can't kill anything. Oh, he can double blaze, right? Okay. Double blazing is really bad, though. Okay. I was gonna say, like, holy. Surely that's not gonna happen. Pitching 2 Guzmas feels pretty weird. I think I want to make another strange play. I'm going to really lean into this Mew. So this is in Flare Strike range now, and this is in Flare Strike range with Choice Band. Making them have Guzma from a 3-card hand. It's like a random 3 cards because they weld it, don't forget. Well, they have board. They're going to Viridian away a Kiawe. They have Heat Factory. So we've seen 3 stadiums from them so far. Part of our master plan with the with this Guzma was that we could use their Heat Factory, use their Viridian so I could Guzma Flare Strike. And that's not possible now that they replace the stadium. But we can still Dedenne change next turn. I could Guzma Dedenne change. Try and hit a fire. Sounds like a good play. Oh, they're going to let loose us? Okay. Well, we got Dedenne and banned. Out of Guzma. They still have Guzma available to them. But because they attached here, it tells me they're not going to Guzma. Okay. So Mew's done its job big time. We can go into this Jirachi because we're holding Switch. This always happens for this guy. Then this. We can't Ultra Ball anything away, so I'll just take Kiawe so we can Dedenne change it away. Let's play Switch. Let's band up. And we'll draw 6. Huh. Well, that's pretty disgusting. Let's try and find Flint or Crystal off this. Okay. This is expensive, but we gotta do it, man. Okay. Well, that was too scary. Need to find our fire crystals, yeah. Because that was too scary. They're going to go Heat Factory, Adventure Bag, do the stuff. Obviously, they can just go 1 energy, double blaze here. And it's down to us to double blaze him back with our Choice Band for win. Oh, they could do Moo to push us out of range. That would be pretty insane. That's pretty yikes. Oh no, we're going to get Moo on. That's the problem of the Mew. We've been Moo-Moo'd. Played no Guzmas. We just got wrecked by the Moo Moo. Wait. This is such a huge risk. No. I was on... Wait. That can't be right. Because I can still double blaze for win. Wait. So our hand sucks, but they easily could have lost. We have Top Deck plus Heat Factory to try and find ourselves Welder. And Crystal. How many switches have I played? 3. So I can't even go into a Jirachi. It's not safe. Unless, I mean, we need to find Welder anyway to win. So this Fire Energy... And I need to find Fire Crystal to win anyway. So I think we can go into Jirachi knowing that we need to pay retreat. Like, we can pay retreat out of this anyway. So let's get rid of the inconsequential cards. Like, we need to find this and this. Stretcher can get us Welder. We have a lot of dead cards, though. Ah, Fire Crystal Stretcher. Pog. That was a good Heat Factory. We did it. Didn't need the Stellar Wish. Whew, we almost got Moo Mooed. Well, I understand why they went for the Moo Moo play, but having to Guzma made life pretty bad for them, right? Made it look like a pretty scary choice. I mean, like, they lost to Welder either way. Yeah, strange choice. Strange choice. But I guess that prior damage did the job. That's the kind of risk with the Mew. Like, we didn't have much else to do, right? So we may as well have done those Mew plays. But it's scary going second in a mirror. Very scary. Because there are essentially 4 energies above you the whole game. Which is like, ugh. But we can always make comebacks with energies. That's the whole point. Well, starting their Tapu Koko GX is very good for us. That's one big burst that Pikarom won't have against us now. I assume it's Pikarom. It might be Zap. Seeing radars tells me it's Pikarom. They're going to go Zeraora Dedenne. They've got the Thunder Mountain in hand. Pikarom comes... Oh, wait. Was that a... Whew. Jeez. Sandra Labs. Insane. They're also able to Volkner here. Currently 1 Lightning in the discard pile. They're going to grab Lightning Ultra Ball. This can get 2nd Lightning in the discard pile, and you can get them their Koko Prism Star. Looks like that's what we're going to see here. Could still be a let loose, but our hand is only 5 cards. I don't know. We started Jirachi as well. Like, he might let loose, but I don't think it's that important for him. Saying that, though, we have a Kiawe in hand. They're going to get energies everywhere. Just leave a Dedenne for us. Makes sense. Well, I think it's just Stellar Wish Kiawe. Don't think we want to Ultra Ball anything, because Band's really good. Let's just Stellar Wish. Flint's a good pickup. Well, let's just Kiawe. They've given themselves the task of having to move their Dedenne. I imagine they did it with a Guzma in hand or something like that, though. You have to imagine they did it with a Guzma in hand. Or at least a Switch. Let's see what they can do. 1 energy on any of their bench Pokemon means they can start swinging, thanks to their stadium. It's just if they can. Yeah, they did it with Guzma in hand. Makes sense. They have E-Switch in hand, not energy. Okay. But of course, they can reload energies pretty easily with full bits. So, like, if they move 1 off Zeraora or the Coco, they can then just put 3 back onto it. I think that's what they're going to do here. Combating with Let Loose gets us out of Choice Band. Fair enough, fair enough. And into Choice Band. Feels good, man. That is just silly. Well played. Well played. Jeez. Oh, I'm glad I was recording that. Jeez. Well, we've got a mountain to climb now, boys. That's for sure. Jeez. The silly thing is, I think we can still win. Oh dear, that was funny. Best let loose of all time. Confirmed. Jeez. I don't even know where I go now. How do we move on from that moment? I don't even. Sure. Guzma sounds like a good idea. So we need some Moo to SOS right now. 3 Guzmas have been played for them though. But we don't really have time to abandon this ReshiZard and go to another one. So we need the Moo. So we need to draw a switch, right? No switch. Guess we let loose. Dig for switch. Almost there. Not quite though. Let's pass. Benching Dedenne comes with its own risks, obviously. But he's already played 3 Guzmas, so our hope is that they can't close the game. That's the hope. They use a Volkner here. So they have 1 E-Power and probably 2 choice bands left for burst. Four prizes is a big deficit to try and claw back though. It's probably going to require stretching back the Milky Boy. Oh, okay. Yes, that does make sense. Switch next card, by the way. We've been memed this game pretty hard, I think. Something tells me we're living in a meme. So what's the easiest thing that can hit 210? This, right? They're the same. They're the same. 2 damage buffs either way. So if they're the same, we shouldn't really Guzma, we should just Welder. Because maybe we hit Stretcher Energy. No. Let's grab these. Let's take our first 2 prizes. Maybe our only 2 prizes. Let's read on. Triple E-Power off Let Loose is pretty nuts though. I think you just say well played to that one. Stretcher, grab a Zapdos, sure, seems fine. They attach to Dedenne. Stuff's happening, boys. That's for sure. They're going to Ultra Ball away the Zapdos and the Pikarom just to grab a Marshadow. So they got back Zapdos just to bin it again. Looks like they're undecided on what to do. Volkner. Gets them Blower Energy. We see a Blower, just to get rid of our tools that are already being shut off, but sure. So really it's down to them to have Guzma in their 5-card hand next turn. Otherwise we can still win. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. Do they have Guzma, is the question. "12 cards in their deck, 3 Guzmas played. Nest Ball. It's a Nest Ball Jirachi and Prey. I guess they're Rachilus, right? Because they're playing 2 Radars. Maybe they can Dedenne dig, but 3 Ultra Balls played as well. I think 3-2 split is probably what he's capped at. Zera Aura gives him a pivot. Looks like he might have to retreat into this if he doesn't have it. And stall for a turn. Oh, he's just going to full blitz. Well, that's the game, isn't it? I can just retreat and outrage. Well, we beat triple E power let loose. It's a good matchup. That's silly. Okay, let's have one more game, I guess. Man, that was a kooky game, yeah. Oh, poor Pikarom, man. He did everything. Everything he could. Just wasn't enough. Just wasn't enough. I'm glad that there was a highlight reel moment, though. Let's try and get one more game in, if anyone's on the ladder. That would be magical. So far we won Mirror and Pikarom. And you like seeing tag team matchups. Those are the matchups you're trying to hit. That's for sure. Huh, no one's playing Pokemon? Here we go. Roxin's playing Pokemon. What a man. We have a mulligan. And we got ourselves ReshiZard Flint Welder. Happy days. We might be up against Weezing though, which is not happy days. It's the opposite of happy days. It's sad days. Yep, it's Weezing. Well, prepare for a difficult game. as mentioned earlier, we prefer attacking with Eevee Snorlax in this matchup because we can just keep announcing attacks. Whereas with this, we have to like retreat out here and there until we're in outrage range. I'm gonna go ahead and do some treasuring. Some Coughings, they're gonna Lily. They're also a deck that can let loose, by the way. You know what I said when I said a blower is really good? Wait, they play Escape Board, so they Jirachi based? Let's read on. We have our Milky Boy. Seems good. That's a great way to undo a lot of damage. We have to hold Stadium because we need it to counter Shrines. They're going to go Shrine, DC to the back, Wheezing, and Let Loose. Seems like a pretty good turn. You got themselves a Pokegear as well for Cynthia for next turn, or for this turn. I forgot that Let Loose isn't a supporter card. Spell Tag Cynthia seems to be the play. More Wheezings hitting the board, more Coughings as well. Not bad, not bad. So, how badly do we need to play cards? We have 200 hit points left, 150 left, 140 left, 140, 130, 90 left after his turn is concluded. Okay. I don't like benching stuff. Not against a deck that completely relies on bench damage. They're going to stretch Arunio and Lily. Oh, we'll have 80 left. I forgot about the second Shrine tick. 80 left. How silly of me. They're going to let loose again or no? They shouldn't let loose again, right? Because we just attached and attacked. Ah, a ReshiZard. So 80 hit points left. If we just go ReshiZard, Watch Ball away, Lele, Fire Crystal for Welder, Outrage. Seems pretty okay, right? Seems pretty okay to me. Doesn't matter if Dedenne gets knocked out, doesn't get him any closer to 6 prizes. It gets him closer, but not in our like game plan, if that makes sense. With making him hit through 2 ReshiZards. Let's Welder. Miltank is tempting. Maybe I don't need to Dedenne. If he gets greedy with Spell Tag, we can punish him with Miltank. I don't really like it much. We'll just do this. No attachments, a big feels bad, man. I wanted to attach. No, I'm gonna regret this Miltank, I already know it. Man, our hand is such a dud now. Was Miltank the bait all along? Feels like it. Feels like it, dude. Okay, let's outrage. Well, at least we get Fiery Flint for energy cards. Detention Cass is rolling. Shrine is rolling. They've only gone through 2 DCs. Another thing we have going well for us is once he takes this knockout, we can we deny counter energies. Man, I hope Miltank wasn't the bait. That turn we could have flinted away the Miltank and just attached here. Really starting to think I regret it. Then again, we drew into some terrible cards. We could have drawn into better cards. Who knows? They found a 3 CE to take their 3 prize cards. That's 6 damage on us. So this is probably always happening. This is always happening. It's at that point in the game where I might have to bench even more stuff. If I'm putting down Marshadow, I should be putting down a Jirachi as well, right? Or do I just Flint YOLO? Still 3 knockouts away. I give him this. I need to do a lot of splattering sludge math here. How many spell tags played? 3 spell tags played. Is really tempting. Okay. Oh, we need it to be... Going from no bench to full bench. I think I've definitely gone wrong somewhere here. We started off so smart, and we've lost all of our brain power. Yeah, we're in a lot of trouble now. We're in a whole heap of trouble now. Never trust and let loose. It's the Miltank that was the bait, man. Because if I had just crystalled, I could just attach to this slowly and just been flare striking a bunch of times into the active and just won. Oh, I can't believe I fell for the Miltank trap. I feel so silly. We did so well with the lone Zard just swinging. We got stupid. And finding his last spell tag's really annoying as well. We're going to gust around it anyway, I imagine, but still. Oh, no energy cards. Where are my energy cards? Jeez. That's a real shame. Now the Mew dies. Then he can sludge and sludge and sludge and win. I'm so bad at this game. Man, we should have won this game. If I played smarter around... I didn't even need to Dedenne if I had Fiery Flinted. Got lured in by Moo. Such a fool. Such a rookie mistake. Now we just lose to a sludge, basically. All I needed was red energies. I just had to keep announcing Flare Strike into Outrage. No. See, it was going to be a masterclass of how to play this matchup. And then I completely threw it all away by literally one Miltank. And then things spiraled way out of our control. I mean, he found his last spell tag to make it look real bad, which is like a high roll from him, but like, oh, we were so close to actually bodying that matchup as well. We were going to be 3 prizes to 3 prizes, which is perfect because the ReshiZard can easily get over the line against him. Oh, I feel so dumb for going for the Miltank. The only no, inexcusable. It's just poor play. Well, that's a shame. I really am frustrated with myself that we weren't able to beat that Weezing, because I think we definitely could have, because our start was so nice, just only having one ReshiZard in play for the longest time, and then I dug myself a hole and just went further and further into it, which is a real shame. I feel like it's time for me to go to bed. It's late on a Friday night. But yeah, that's ReshiZard. I think if you can play smarter around Weezing, you can beat it. But I didn't. Oh, I'm going to look back at that game with shame. Annoying. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about the list and all this stuff down below. And I'll be back for another video soon. Cheers.